Yeah. Hey. Welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. I got a very informative and special kind of guy here in my life. This is a dear friend that I happen to meet through my brother in law. And I'm so proud of what he has done in his whole life because you get to see how he's grown into a very good person, a constant professional, and now he's trying to do things for other people. And when I talk about doing other things, um, just listen to the title, "The Mortgage Reducer." When you hear that, you're like your ears pop open. You're like, where is it? Where is it? So, without further ado, my man John Paul, as we call him, JP, the Mortgage Reducer. How you doing?
Appreciate the introduction, brother. I'm doing very well, doing very well. Just trying to finalize some stuff for the website, get things rock and roll. A lot of hard work, but like you said, just trying to really help people, especially in our communities, help people start to save money, really build their wealth, and a lot of fun and interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, it's definitely no joke when it comes to mortgages sometime, and when you can relieve some of that stress because it is stress, and when you relieve that and make it much easier for you and the family, you know, it puts a smile to your face.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like part of the reason, like just getting started was just investing on my own, and then saying, wait, hold on, I need to now that I understand kind of how to buy property, how to look at the numbers when investing, the one piece that I kept putting off to the side was understanding the loan side of it and how to structure it and looking at all my assets and how to make them work together. So spending a lot of time in the last few years is really mastering that piece of the puzzle and then finding opportunities for myself and then saying, wait, hold up, this can be impactful for the everyday homeowner. And like you said, it's scary stuff if you don't do it every single day. So my job is really to go in there and help folks understand, or rather, what's going on in their picture,
Hmm.
fix things, make it work better, lower their monthly bills, and help them to pay off quicker. And on average, this year, we've lowered mortgages. We've shaved 17 years off people's mortgages. So if you take 17 years of no mortgage payments and apply that for other stuff, the wealth generation for families can be phenomenal. And I think on average, we're lowering uh, mortgage payments by 300,000. It sounds like nuts, but those are the numbers. You put in the calculator, random, and that's pretty much where people are at right now.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. And for everyone that's listening out there, the website is themortgagereducer.com. You know, if you're interested in the program, definitely go on that website and feel free to comment, listen, listen to what he's saying. You got questions, put it in the comment section, and I'll bring it to JP, and most likely he'll have the answer for you, and you go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And just one little thing about the website, we still haven't done the official launch. It is up and running, but we haven't done the official launch. We're just working on one minor bug on the form section. So if they have any general questions, just tell them to drop me a line, shoot me an email or text, but just don't fill out the form because that information is not being captured. So we have the web team fixing that, and hopefully today or tomorrow we do official launch, and that will be all up on social media and the website as well.
Actually, good. Let's see. Well, here's our first question. Is this for people who are looking to buy?
I would say short answer, yes and no. My strategy is really focusing on people after they've purchased the home, but I never have a problem picking up the phone. And if people have general questions about what they're trying to purchase and the numbers and all that, I can totally give them whatever guidance I can and just steer them. But it's also saying, all right, if you're interested in buying, you're buying once you're done purchasing, let's have a conversation based maybe in 6 months or 12 months based on where you are in the processing your numbers. But all the consultations that I do are for free. And if I can't help people save money, then I'm gonna tell you straight up, right off the rip. And I'll either tell you other options or tell you what you need to do in order to save. But 100% of my clients save money and that's just the way I roll.
Excellent. I
Yeah.
seen one of the posts on your Facebook page. It said that just kind of give or take a mortgage went from $2,000 and was reduced to $800.
Yeah.
Um, and it just to give everyone a little ballpark figure, um, um, and that's good to know. But
Yeah, and that's not uncommon too. I mean,
yeah,
what we're doing is basically there's a lot of branding and marketing and all that good stuff that the banks do.
hmm
Their one job is to loan you money, the privilege of loaning you money, and that's how they make their money. My job is to figure out all the little workarounds, all the legal ways, all the smart, proven, sound ways. What are investors doing to maximize their earnings, right? So how are they getting more money on a sale? How much are they getting more money on their cash flow? So I always tell people, I have four jobs. I have four things that I need to accomplish. I need to make sure I protect your asset. I'm looking at your full financial picture to figure out how do we lower your monthly bills, not just looking at the home. We're looking at all the other debt because we want to have all those items work together versus having all these little distractions of bill here, bill there. So how do we restructure that, lower and start to isolate and focus in on the biggest problem areas, right? So it's that, and then it's lowering the monthly bills, and then also working on increasing wealth. So those are my four jobs. If I don't accomplish those, then I shouldn't be working with you, right? And I'll tell you that fairly quickly, right off the bat. Look at the numbers, crunch them, and let people know. But like I said, the banks, their job is to keep you in those loans as long as possible. And the crazy thing is, I don't know about your audience, maybe somebody can chime in, but how often, after you purchase a house, you get those notifications or those mailers saying, hey, we could refinance and you could save even more money. Like,
yes.
great. Why didn't you do that when I first bought it? Like, why you do that now? So what we look at is, I always tell people, look at your amortization schedule. That's in the back of the packet when you close on your home, and it tells you how much you're paying monthly. Don't look at the interest rate. That can be misleading, right? If you're in a home for, let's say, 6-7 years, and it's a 30-year mortgage, you could be restarting that entire clock just to get a lower monthly payment. But that lower monthly payment is just that, just a lower monthly payment. But we're not paying the principal balance. We're not paying down what's owed on the house. And most people aren't going to take that savings from what the old payment was to the new one to throw towards debt. So it's really not a benefit. It's actually just a benefit of the bank because now you're in that loan for another 7 years because you're restarting the clock. So what we do is we go in there and we look at the full financial picture and develop a strategy and walk you through each step of the process. And on average, my clients are paying off their house in under 12 years. Average, like I said, they're shaving 17 years off the home. Off the life of their mortgage. I had one young lady I just helped in Massachusetts. They said, "How about if you own property outside of Massachusetts?" Yes, I help people pretty much anywhere in the country because just help them with the strategy. But had a young lady, she just refinanced last year. Rate was at like 3%. We got her to, we got her to a slightly lower rate. But instead of being paid off in 29 years, she had 1 year that she was in this new loan. We went in there. She would be completely debt free in 12 years.
Wow.
Because we're looking at all the banks just love keeping us in these loans, like I said, and they don't teach us. It's not something you learn in school, right? So what we're going there is really teaching people the type of loans that are better. We're teaching them what the banks don't want them to know, how to get out of that debt. And I just saw a question pop up about a timeshare. I'm not too familiar about that, Kevin, but feel free to drop me a message or leave a comment underneath this video, and I should be able to get back and look into that. But just getting back to the topic was that there's so much stuff that we're not taught in school. And a lot of this stuff is the stuff that I've focused in on, learned over the several years. Like I've been licensed to do tax returns, licensed as a real estate salesperson, as well as just recently getting the mortgage loan originator license, right? So kind of taking all those disciplines and then also having massive amounts of student loan debt and just bumping my head and making tons of mistakes over the last 12, 13 years, looking at all those mistakes that I made, looking at all the stuff that I've learned in all these different disciplines, putting that into one package and really helping people get out of debt. So we've had phenomenal success. And like I said, I don't sign anybody up into the program unless I'm positive that they're going to save money, and we have 100% success rate.
Good, good. Cam Ford says he's interested. Cam, we like I said, the website is there. Try to reach out, go on it, contact JP through email, call, whatever. But definitely get in touch with him. Cam, and you're a young man, so I want you to make sure you reach out to him. That way, later on in your life, you're debt free, and it's gonna work out better for you.
Yeah, I was crunching numbers for somebody yesterday, and she just purchased a home about a year. This somebody different in New York, and we ran the numbers, and she's going to save in mortgage payments over $700,000. That's life changing to be able to shift all that focus from the house because she will be paid off in about 6 years. To shift all that savings into the house, and in my opinion, leveraging the home is where you start to build that generational wealth, where you really start to see those savings. And for me, I got into real estate about 12, 13 years ago when I was living in California, was looking to buy, and I recommend this to everybody. There's so much terminology that's thrown out there. And a lot of us just, at least I didn't feel comfortable asking the realtor because I don't want to feel dumb, right?
Yeah.
Or asking the mortgage loan officer, right? So I spent, what is that? I think it might have been $100 for the class in California. You can go through your community college. A lot of time have it online. There's a ton of resources, but just figure out what, the resources for your state. Take a class. It's going to be your biggest investment in life, right? For most of us, right? And to have that knowledge, to be able to have a more informed conversation with your realtor, with the loan officer, is going to make a world of difference. But that's really how I got started. I've taken well over 500 hours of real estate related classes, from property management to just the classes needed to get my license. I took a bunch in California, never got licensed, but came to New York, got licensed in New York. But a lot of what I do is really focus on the strategy and the loan side, because I don't know anybody out there that does what I do. So that's just why it became super interesting. I knew I was onto something when I was at family parties and I was explaining it, and it just went over people's head. I was like, why aren't y'all listening? Like, listen, just do this tomorrow. And it got to the point where I would just, people were starting to walk away from me at parties. I'm like, I'm starting to turn into that guy that won't stop talking. Like, like that, maybe that guy at the office that won't stop talking about crypto, and people are like, listen, it's not my thing. I don't want to do it. But then won't stop talking about it. So that's really when I realized, all right, I need to figure out a better way to communicate this to people. And then I just had a trip, a business trip for my regular 9 to 5. And I had a buddy of mine and told them about it, got them signed up. They had no clue what I was talking about, but they trust me, right? So got them through the process. And then he's like, hey, how much are we going to save this year? I'm like, I just knew they were going to save a lot. I didn't know the exact number. I didn't crunch it. I just got them set up, looked at their full financial picture. That first year saved $35,000. That's when I was like, oh, light bulb moment. Nobody cares about what's underneath the engine. They just want to know when they hit the button or turn the key, that car is going to rock and roll, and just tell me what the number is to fix it, right? I'm going to pay you $500 and just let me know that this car is going to be good for several months or whatever, right? So that's a big thing. And then I see a question here. Did you want me to tackle that one, Charlie?
Yeah, if you're finished, continue.
Yeah, no, I was basically just saying that
Okay.
I realized that I end up being kind of like the liaison for people in the entire process. But another thing that I do, which is super unique, is that once we restructure a lot of your debt, I don't just say goodbye, good luck. We check in every single month because it's counterintuitive. Like I said, we're doing all the things that we weren't taught in school, because if we did the things and continue to do the things that we're taught in school, we'll never get ahead because the banks design it that way. It doesn't make sense, right? Think about a credit card, right? When you get the credit card payment, you $1,000, right? You run it up $1,000, get ready to pay it at the end of the month. But you always see that little number that says $24. Why would I pay $24 on a $1,000 credit card bill if I have the money available to pay off the balance? Because the banks don't care about you paying on the balance. They care about you paying interest on the money you borrowed. So that's just kind of an example of, why I really like this program, because it's effective, and it drills away at all the misconceptions and all the things that we were falsely taught through marketing and branding of the banks. But the question was, would I have to leave the bank I have a mortgage with? Depends, but more than likely, yeah. A lot of what I do is researching local markets to see what the best opportunity is for savings in that market, but then also providing a strategy. So it's look at the full financial picture. Instead of having 3 or 4 different things working separately, we start to get them to work almost in unison, right? So let's just lower the monthly bill dramatically and say, all right, let's focus on this. Which one's causing us the most hurt? And then taking that savings to help pay down debt, but creating a lot more flexibility. And this is what I hear a lot from my clients is they say, I feel empowered. I feel like there's way more opportunities for me to grow my wealth, putting people in position to buy more properties. So that's a lot of what I hear. But just to answer the question was, do you have to leave the bank? Not always, but oftentimes, yeah. But ultimately, it's really creating a strategy and making that strategy help you to pay down that debt quickly. But like I said, on average, I believe it's $1,000 on my last calculation for clients for the year of how much they're lowering their bills. So they lower their bills 1,000. Granted, we don't just take that and start splurging. We start using that savings to figure out how we're going to pay down other debt. How do we start looking at other investments? So it really depends. And I always get this question like, oh, so can you just go and tell us really quickly how to do it? I'm like, the reason why I got into the business because it became too time consuming to tell people in a short period of time. So then it became a thing where I run the numbers, have let's say a 30-minute quick call to say, hey, these are the basic principles of what we're going to do to save you money. Once you get qualified, everything works. Then we're going to have our monthly check-ins and we'll take a deeper dive and really show people the inner workings of how to save that money. But I'm with them every step of the way, or the team's with them every step of the way to really help them save money.
This is
Uh,
Kevin says, are you teaching me how to do it, or are you actually taking over my mortgage and doing it for me?
That's a great question, Kevin. Appreciate it. So I want to make sure I'm clear on this. I am not a mortgage loan broker. I'm not working for the banks. I'm working for the individual. So my job is to get them into better loans overall, looking at the full financial picture. Like I said, whether it's student loan debts, it's what have you. It's taking all that stuff that I learned in taxes, mortgage, and all that other stuff, and really come up with a strategy. So you should never be on it alone. I'm with you every step of the way. So look at my phone log. It's just clients calling me, whether they're calling me, texting me anytime of the day with a question, even after their loans close, jumping on calls because they may have questions of other debt. I had one couple, they closed and like, oh, we would really love to take a family a trip, or I'm sorry, an anniversary. It was their 10th year anniversary. I was like, sure, no problem. Let's look at the numbers. So we crunched it. I'm like, yeah, of course you guys can afford it. You've lowered your bills by X amount of dollars this year. That makes perfect sense. If you were in your old predicament, wouldn't recommend it because it's going to put too much of a strain and you're going to add to your debt. But when we were able to restructure it, they were fine. Their bills started off at $3,000. We dropped it down to $500. Now, what do you do with that $2,500 savings? So we take a portion of that, start looking at other debt, drilling that down. But they went from 20 years remaining on their mortgage down to 5, and that's with multiple. I think they have 4 kids, if I'm not mistaken. So a family of 6 to go from 20 years remaining, and that doesn't include their car. This isn't their cars will be paid off. All the other small little debts they had, all that would be paid off in 5 years. But like I said, it's really leveraging the stuff that the banks don't want us to know, and that's where I come in, is using my expertise and my understanding of how these loans work and really helping the individual. So you're never in a loan. My job is to be the white glove service, kind of the concierge, if you will, through the entire process. And yeah, that's really what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm giving like these long-winded answers. I get super excited about this stuff.
No, I'd rather have it this way than giving one-word answers that ain't gonna help out anybody. So
yeah,
good job.
And another thing I wanted to touch on is like the student loan debt. A lot of people started like I shouldn't say we. I was always taught, and I think many times in communities of color, we're just not taught about financial literacy, right? And the idea and this is part of, before I called it one-on strategy because it was a play on my last name, one-on, right? So one-on-one strategy, but people just weren't understanding that. But the reason why I called it one-on-one strategy because it was a strategy for the overall financial picture. Switch it over to the mortgage reducer because everything is kind of cornered or anchored through home ownership. But it was really, like I said, looking at the full financial picture. But it's like student loans was an example. I had somebody that was in an 8% loan. I'm like, you started off at an 8. There is no penalty in most cases for refinancing your student loans. So unless you qualify for some sort of debt forgiveness program or what have you, you should restructure and keep looking at interest rates. Another thing that we're taught is adjustable rates are horrible. They can be horrible because it's a variable, it's an unknown, right?
Yep.
But we know that the way the economy is going, it's highly unlikely that rates are going to skyrocket. So if you refinance your student loans from a 2%, from an 8% down to a 2% right now at a variable, you're going to save a tremendous amount. Take that savings, keep paying what you were paying before, but at least now you have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit buffer, and the length of that loan will increase because it's a new loan, but keep paying what you were paying before, and you're going to pay off before the original loan date that you had on the first loan, but you'll have better terms and more of your money will be going towards debt. And that's what the banks don't tell us. So that's part of the techniques that we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, I could save people
My
$700 right off the rip. Oh, one more thing to add to that. And also,
yeah.
when you do that on the student loans, you get a month off your bills. So if you had an $800, now you take that $800, no bill for a month. You take that 800 plus that lower. Let's say you lowered it by 200. That's $1,000 that you could throw towards student loan debt and really get out of debt quick. And I mean, I tell people you can look at doing it once a year if you really want to, but you really want to be careful how it impacts your credit score, right? Like we don't want to just keep doing it haphazardly. And one other fun fact is I saw another question pop up, so I don't want to throw us off topic completely. Is 760 about is where your credit doesn't matter anymore. I mean, matter in the sense that everybody wants that 800 pristine credit score. 760 and 800 are looked by the banks for the most part as the same thing. So if you're at a 780 and there's an opportunity to get you into a better student loan, car loan, what have you, as long as you're applying the right strategy, you should be looking at getting into better loans if one becomes available. But it's very important. That's not just important to get into the right loan. It's the strategy behind it, helping pay down the debt.
Awesome.
Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does.
All right.
Let me see. I'm gonna look at the questions that you and I talked about offline and off air rather.
Okay. Yes, I saw a bunch of questions popping up. I hope I didn't.
Yeah.
Hope I'm not keeping people waiting there.
One of the things that I didn't understand when I had a mortgage was the PMI. Let's talk about that.
Oh my God. Where do I start? PMI is trash. Okay. So basically PMI, private mortgage insurance, I believe it's called. It's to protect the bank. You hear insurance, and you automatically think it's to protect you. It's just because whoever gets PMI, it means you're a riskier loan, and the bank it's basically saying it's a protection to the bank, saying, hey, we're giving you a risky loan, so we need some sort of protection to cover our loss in case you default on this property. So it's really protecting them. So you want to get rid of PMI because there's typically no tax benefit. It's just an added expense that's not going towards your debt. So you want to get rid of that as quick as possible. Using my strategy, typically it's at 80% is when you can get it to fall off. I believe on conventional, I think it's longer on FHA if I'm not mistaken. But using my strategy, I can get people out that if they have 10% ownership in their property. But it really depends. I got to look at the numbers, crunch, and come up with a strategy. But typically 10%. So that's kind of where I pride myself, because I almost kind of get that chuckle like, oh, we're not only going to get these people paid out of their house quicker, they're going to get rid of that PMI. So more of their money is actually going towards building their wealth and getting the banks off their back. So yeah.
Awesome.
So like the person I was talking about that just bought in New York, she has PMI. So we're going to get rid of her PMI and get her on pace to pay her house off in roughly 6 years.
Awesome. Let me touch base here.
Man, you got it going in there in the chat room, huh? We're air traffic control managing this whole show.
Trying to do the best I can here.
No, it's awesome.
Let's see. All right. I want to look for some information so I can put it on the bottom line. Actually, I want to go back to that Facebook profile that you have, the mortgage reducer.
Yeah.
I want to put that on the bottom line too, so I'm going to look for that.
Were you looking for the interviews with the
No, I could share that, but
Yeah, it was just some client testimonials. I thought that's what you were looking for because that's on the website too, if that's
Yeah,
easier to pull up.
yeah. Let me see here. Just kind of look for that here. The All right. I'm gonna have to 1 second here.
Okay, cool. Absolutely.
Yeah. JP, go ahead. You can touch up on anything while I'm on this other screen here.
Um, while you're doing that, I guess I'll talk about a little bit how I got started, and I tapped on it, touched on it a little bit, but it's basically it was taking the techniques that investors were using, noticing that there was some white space for even more savings, and saying,
Hmm.
wait, if I apply this to the everyday homeowner, they can save tremendously. But I think we're always taught that there's just two loans. There's a 15 and there's a 30. And there's way more. I think the last time I checked, there's 16 different loans. So that's really I want
Wow.
something I want people to think about. Another thing that people don't take into consideration when they're new to the game, let me buy a house and I'm gonna pay this for the down payment and I'm gonna put this for the repairs. It's like, why would you do that if there's loans out there that will pay for those renovations? And then there's techniques that you can do to kind of recoup some of the money that you put down towards that once you fix the house. But that's kind of deeper in the weeds when it comes to strategy. But that's some stuff we talk about with clients. Really depends on where they are in the process. Typically, I don't work with big time investors. If people have two, three properties, that's where I do help. I had one young lady that we started some conversations with about a month ago, and she had two properties and wanted to do some second mortgages and all that, but ran her numbers. It's like, no, if you do this and this is how you would better leverage it. And she would be out of debt in 12 years versus the 15 she had on the other one and the 30 she had on the new one. So it really depends on the people's situation. But like I said, everything that I do is customized towards the individual we do on our team. Oh, there it
Okay.
is. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to let me go ahead and check this out here. All right, let me get to the beginning here.
Yeah, they did very well. That's my last post.
All right, let's see, and make sure it's going here.
Yeah, this couple, while you're getting that up, they should. Oh, is it coming up? I thought I heard. Oh, there we go. Oh, they had the more. I forgot we had them show their statement. I think we lowered their bills by 1,400. Because people, I feel like after a while, just
Wow.
it wasn't sounding believable. So I'm like, can you guys just show your statement? Yeah. Another thing, while that's loading, Charlie, is even people that are in their homes and want to do renovations. That's part of like that
Yep.
customization of the plan, right? Where I think
Yeah.
I don't want to say 100%. It might be 100%. If not, it's very close to that. 100% of people that I help they end up doing renovations because the way that we've restructured their debt. So not only are they able to restructure their debt, get out of their debt quicker, but they're able to take care of the stuff that they've been putting off for a while. One couple, they just been drilling away at stuff that they've been wanting to do for a while, but it's that they want to enjoy the house with their kids while the kids are still young and not off to college, and
Yeah.
that's what the home's for. So it really depends on they are in the process and really trying to come up with a strategy that best serves them. You look at a 30-year mortgage, people's lives change dramatically over 30 years. I think we should be looking at it more in windows of maybe 8 to 10 years, right?
Hmm.
What are my needs when I'm a 20-year-old? My needs are far different than what they were at 30 and 40, right? And when I'm 40 and
Right.
50, it's going to be completely different then. So it depends on where people are in their life and what their strategies are. But the one of the questions I have on a form that I have people fill out, what are your goals? Because I can come up with a strategy to help you save money, but what if I can't align it with your goals, then I'm way off track, and that would
Yeah.
impact dramatically what the strategy is. So you had a question there.
Let's see. What's the average amount of years you can reduce someone's mortgage
Really
by?
depends on the individual, what's going on in their situation. But on average, this year, when I ran the calculation, it's about 17 years that we're taking off the mortgage. And people, yeah, depending
Wow.
on where they are, yeah, how many years they are in the process, but people are saving. And the crazy thing is they're like, oh, but I'm gonna have to sacrifice a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the opposite, right? Because we're trimming the fat off of everything, right? And more of people's money are going towards paying down that principal balance, having money available to do what they want to do, creating a lot more flexibility and freedom with their money, but it's giving them more discretionary income at the end of the month, so they can go out to eat more, they can go on trips more, they can do all that and still not mess up the trajectory of the payoff, right? Because all the stuff that I come up with, it's not hocus pocus, it's not magic, it's me running a calculation, me using a calculator. So it's all sound numbers. There's things to consider and there's things that can change, but ultimately it's an accurate estimate of where I think the payoff can be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What let me just go back to. I'm gonna go to this. I gotta read this announcement, and then
Sure.
we're gonna come
Absolutely.
right back to you. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, let's find it here. But I really, really appreciate you coming on, man. And
Nah, I love doing it. Oh, nice. Welcome
uh,
back.
that's it.
Love it.
I get an announcement from one of our events that happened locally here, and it's called Making Musical Memories. Welcome back, Ivory Bell. Ivory Bell, professional musicians. He definitely tears it up at White's. You know, gets a huge crowd there, and I believe he's traveling from Baltimore. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, but welcome back, Ivory Bell. Saturday, June 12th, 8 p.m. at White's of Westport, 66 State Road. Also on the stage is KG Express Band. Tickets available are the VP, which I know now as of today that they're sold out with the VP passes. So tickets. General admission is $20. There's an assessment if you use a credit card, $1. Ticket in information, can be obtained by calling Lorraine at 508-776-5475 or contact Cecilia's boutique downtown New Bedford at 508-994-3833. All right.
Life getting back to normal finally, huh?
Yeah, definitely. You
Man.
know, get some good people together,
Yeah.
singing, dancing,
Man.
conversations, all that stuff. It's just
I'm glad that this nightmare started to come to an end, man.
so true,
Yeah.
especially well, everybody's culture, man. We want to meet and greet, man. We want to hang out. We
Yeah.
want to do our thing. So
Dab it
it's
up, give hugs, give kisses, all that stuff. But can't. I'm just glad. Yeah, glad it's almost over.
it was so weird when you got Cape Verdean people going like this.
Oh yeah, you're like, "Hey, stay away." My mother though, man, we couldn't keep her. She's like, "Oh, I had to go to a visita." I'm like, "Mine, you don't need to be at the." You know what I mean? Like, you need to chill. You need to go to the. Yeah, but I feel you on that for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
that's just in the
So
culture.
it sure is.
Yeah.
Now I didn't hear you mention, and maybe I'm a bad host, but I just want to let everybody know he has 13 years of experience.
Yeah.
13 years. That's that's not a walk in the park. That's definitely some knowledge, and I highly recommend John Paul.
Yeah, man. I kind of when I started knowing I was getting onto something is when I started explaining this to the lawyer in New Jersey. I think Massachusetts as well. California, you don't have to, but you need a lawyer for closing. And I was just running some ideas. I'm like, hey, what if I did X, Y, and Z? He's like, oh, you could. And I'm like, it wasn't connecting, but I'm like, I've ran the numbers out. So I just went out on a limb and just tried it myself. I'm like, wait, this is mine. Like these numbers are ridiculous. I was on pace to pay my house off in 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using these strategies. But another thing I want to mention is when folks go to get that pre-approval and they say you can afford a house that's 500,000, you should run your other numbers because they're not going to take into consideration all your other expenses, groceries, other insurance, transportation, gas, all that stuff, right? So I always tell people, get the house that meets your needs. Don't go for the dollar amount that you're approved. Live below your means, and that's going to be another way for you to generate wealth. But that's kind of the reason why I was closer to that 3-year mark. got something super affordable, met my needs. But like I said, I was talking to a lawyer, and he just was it wasn't clicking. But that was for one property I got when I was in New Jersey, and then the second time I went there, and we're just chopping it up. And he told me he didn't want me to go to the big lenders, and there's definitely some value in that because the local lenders know the market better and they tend to push things faster and you get better response. But he's like, JP, I'm not saying this because you're in front of me, but you're one of my more savvy investors. I'm like, all right, whatever doubt that I had about my knowledge or skill set in this space got cast aside when it's like this guy deals with investors all the time, cash, finding all that. But it's like, all right, if I can take this and bring it back to the community and help people that have been burned by the banks historically, and especially in our communities, it's like, all right, this could be an amazing tool. So it's just been exciting seeing. Like I had one kid, he had just say kid, he's an adult, right? But he had a property in Boston, and the way they structured his loans, they gave him 2 different loans, and I'm looking, I'm like, this is crazy. So when they restructured, he had 15 years or so remaining on the mortgage. I was like, man, if we just move these pieces around and we address the issue with we address your car loan, restructure that, you'll be good. We lowered his bills by over $1,000. He'll be debt free in 8 years. So we cut that significantly, and his credit. He's like, hey, but what's this going to do to my credit? I'm like, listen, whenever you take a loan out, credit's going to drop. It's just the way it works, right? But you have what you need your credit for, which is to purchase a house and a car. Those are the big things, right? Credit card for small purchases, not an issue. You can get that, no problem. But we redid it, and I'm like, listen, it's going to take a little dip, but the way we're redoing your loans, you're gonna have way less debt, so your utilization is going to decrease, and you're going to be able to pay it down faster. I swear, verbatim, the text was boom, and then the next one was credit went up, never been higher. It went up 43 points in about 2 weeks or so. So, that's really what I do. It's like empowering our community because we've never been taught this stuff. So for me to go in there and adjust a few things, him be in charge of a fraction of the cost of what he would have been charged had he gone to whatever other services and not got the education, not got the step-by-step, not got the monthly check-ins. We just did our monthly check-in yesterday. So that is what excites me, is being able to help not just give people the tools, but to inform them and to also educate them and to help them generate their family wealth. One more thing before, I'm sorry, I keep going on. Another thing that drives me crazy is when families have a property. It's like, why would you guys, if you own this property, why don't you leverage that to get the next one instead of selling it and paying all the commission fees, right? Keep that in the family. So now it's an asset, because if you're a high earner, even if you're not, maybe you don't have a lot of tax deductions, maybe the kids are off, they're all on their own. Now you get to depreciate that property and your taxes. So there's a lot of different benefits to keeping property and that ownership, especially in our communities. And like I said, a lot of the people I work with end up doing renovations, and that in turn helps to kind of keep economic stimulation within a community. They have more discretionary income, so they start to spend in the community, and just have a lot of trickle effects within the community. So really bringing this to the community is part of the reason why I started.
Wow. I'm gonna try to go back to that testimonial, but I'm gonna do it another way. Instead of having them on the screen, I'm gonna do it through my end, only because I didn't like that audio.
Gotcha.
I think it would come up better on this end.
Yeah, that was a fun one, man. That they were good. And the crazy thing with that one, while you're pulling it up,
money that we will have saved over.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just say the funny thing is with them, like I said, I'm with people every step of the way, and I don't get paid unless people save. Period. Like I don't collect a fee, nothing. They went through the process 3 times because things just weren't working, blender, what have you. But the 3rd time was the charm for them, and it's been golden since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get them on here.
It's absolutely worth it. 10 times
How's that
over.
sound?
Absolutely.
The amount of money that you guys have saved us thus far is absolutely and then to think like the money that we will have saved over the 8 years, it's just ridiculous when you compare the amounts of money. I think that, in our opinion, your service is invaluable. Like the information that you guys provide this
is really life-changing. Really think about it, man. I mean, it relieves so much pressure, so much headache.
The stress isn't there anymore.
It isn't there anymore.
No, that's what we like to hear. And just knowing that, like, we're not just looking at the house, we're looking at the full picture. And we're really trying to apply our strategies. And there's several different strategies, and it depends on each person, but applying those to the individuals or the families to allow them to really get the kind of the pressure off their back, off their shoulders of all these financial institutions that really don't try to take the time to educate people and say, hey, these are all your assets. How do we leverage them in a way that helps you pay off the debt? But the fact that you guys are very open to it, flexible, we have the conversation, say, hey, here are a few options. Which one do you like better? But that you guys are also working the plan. I would say that this is a partnership, and that you guys are really working the plan. What's your take on how that works? Or maybe you can just tell people how that works so they can have a better.
Well, the education, I think, it's invaluable, because it like I said before, it opened our eyes to what our options are for the future. We get to plan and think about, other ways to bring in income. You guys don't look at just per se just the mortgage or just lowering that bill. It's really almost like a life plan. We can think about the future. You guys strategize to get us in the best situation so that we have other options. It's not just one option, or we can pick and choose which route to go down, and you guys there to guide us along the way the whole time.
And those monthly check-ins really help too.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear that's right. Those are the results.
That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to, because what they did in that testimony is actually just confirm what you already said, and that's what I want to hear. I want people to hear those other voices saying exactly what you said.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful, how it is. You have a family. Sometimes throughout the course of the year, there's going to be different ebbs and flows of what needs to be paid and what expenses come up. So really being able to take advantage of this strategy allows people to address those without that pain. And as kind of cliche as the tagline for the business is save more, stress less. That's really what we're trying to accomplish, is taking the stress off of people, having them have more of their money in their bank at the end of the day versus giving it to the lenders. Their bank account, I should say.
Awesome. And on my profile, on my friends list, is definitely a lot of people that are involved with the real estate market, and I hope that they're actually looking at this also to kind of give the people that they're either buying or selling their houses for. I hope they say, hey, why don't you try one more step? Go see JP and.
And it's like selfish as this may sound for the realtor, it's actually not, because if you hand them off to me after they're done purchasing, we come up with a plan. Now the life cycle of your services continue because they're paying down more of their balance. So eventually they're going to want to sell. They're going to either want to upgrade, or maybe they're going to want to get a summer house, or maybe the kids move out and they want to downgrade, but they're going to have more cash to do that. They're going to be in a better position. Or they might just want to get investment properties. So now you put them in a position to do that, and that the conversation continues. But they also know that, hey, my realtor doesn't care about just the sale. They care about my financial future. They care about where I'm going to live, but more importantly, they care about helping me generate wealth by using the thing that they just got me into, which is the home. So yeah, it's a win-win, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything that I didn't touch up on? Maybe a question I didn't ask. When I look at the questions that we already had, I think you touched up on all of them.
Yeah, I'll just scamming. Well, my bad for project. Not scamming, I promise. Scanning, I promise, no scam. I'm just scanning through the things, but I think we touched a lot of it. But somebody had mentioned that just being passionate about it. But you just get so frustrated seeing people losing money in these traditional loans, and then also looking at their other debt. And I felt guilty not telling people about it. And I was like, trying to think about how to inform more people how to save money. And that's part of it when I was visiting one of my buddies and helping him. And then I was like, oh, wait, if this is a business, then there's no more guilt. I can just say, hey, listen, I know you're in a loan. Here's some opportunities for you to save money. Here's a link, zero pressure on mine. And that's another thing. listen. I'm gonna give you the numbers. I'm gonna let you take a look at it. We'll have a quick conversation as to how it works. If you're interested, great. If you're not, no hard feelings. But at the end of the day, just want to make sure that people are comfortable and know that I'm there to help them and help them save and build that wealth, like we said, for their families. Enjoy more of their money.
Are you? Do you want to share your number in the comment section?
I apologize. I don't have my business number memorized, but it's on themortgagereducer.com. But my personal cell, people can definitely reach me there, 774.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, absolutely.
774.
You know what? Let me pull up the business one. I'll get that in 2 seconds for you. I apologize. I haven't been using it that much. I keep giving up people my personal, and I'm being lazy here. But yeah, they can text me or call me on the business line. It's set up for text message. It's 617 855 8718. Yeah, just making sure that they do not fill out the form just yet, because we, like I said, the designers are working on that bug. Once that's done, I'll be able to take that. But if they want to drop me a text, drop me an email, jp@tmrstrategy.com, short for the Mortgage Reducer Strategy. So tmrstrategy.com. But you can get me on social media too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. tmrstrategy.com, you said?
Got it. Yeah, I was trying to make it shorter than the Mortgage Reducer. It's a long one, but both will take you to the website.
All right.
Yeah, but the email, JP.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, so they click that, they should be good to go, rocking and rolling.
Awesome. I definitely want to do this again.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
We want to continue to do this, even if I set up something where we can do it virtually. You, me, and maybe a client.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I got a bunch of people that would love to kind of talk about it. And I think it's always more effective when they do, because we know that they've been through the process. And some other stuff I'm working on is with some nonprofits as well. It's for people that are on the first-time home buyer side. So hopefully I'll be able to speak to that soon. But ultimately, we're just trying to help the community have more of their money, save their money, so they can invest and stop giving away our properties, or getting into bad loans, right? Let's keep more of our assets in our community, start to build wealth in the community, and start to rebuild our communities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is officially the Really Charlie podcast, but I want to officially tell you that this is your podcast anytime that you want to use it.
Appreciate it, brother, man. Appreciate it. You got me on quick, too. I didn't know it was going to happen this quick.
Yeah. Your name speaks for itself. I was
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
I said, got to get a good brother on here. And
appreciate it.
As my wife says, talk that talk, and you did. You talked.
Man, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. No. You got the gift of gab, and you keep with it. You stick with it, and you're not talking ish. You're talking real facts, and that's what I like about you.
Likewise, man. I mean, we connected from day one, and I'm glad that we stayed in touch. And just being able to get on this platform and spread the word, just the stuff that you've been doing in the community, just getting real positive people out there, and keep the conversation going regardless of the topic.
Yes, I appreciate it. But any ideas? Shoot me a text.
Yeah.
Anything, say, hey, ACP, do this, man. Put this on your podcast.
Like I said, that first time home buyer stuff, hopefully I'm going to be on that quick, because that, like I said, the stuff that I do are for people that are in the home, but we want to start getting more of our people owning instead of renting. It's just too many benefits not to own.
Yes, definitely. I definitely would like to get back into home ownership, like I was before. So maybe for me in the future, maybe this year, next year, we'll see.
Hey, brother, you know who to hit up when you're ready.
Yeah.
I got you.
Awesome. Well, you got a big family, but you know what? I want you to hug every single one of the people in your family, because you got a wonderful family.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
And the Perrys love them, so much love to your family.
And same to you, brother, man. Hope to see you soon, man, in person, man.
All right.
All right.
JP, thank you, man. I
Anytime,
really appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right. Can't beat that man. That young man is doing fabulous things. I'm very proud of him. Like if he was my little brother, he's definitely doing the right thing. Please, I seen all the comments out there. Y'all, it's just get in touch with him. He's there. He's there for you. This is genuine information. He's definitely gonna do what's right for you and your family and your situation. So Cam Forts, get in touch with him. Numbers on the screen, websites on the screen, in the comment section. It's easy. We play with our phones every single day, texting, on social media. Guess what? This is an opportunity to improve yourself. So guess what? Send him a text, get in touch with him, and KP leaves a message. He seems honest. This dude is honest. I wouldn't say that if I was being genuine, I wouldn't be on this podcast. This is the dude, and get in touch with him so he can help you. All right. So our podcast has come to an end, and I was very, very happy to get this podcast on the air for y'all. We have a couple of more podcasts this week, Thursday and Friday. So continue to support me on the Really Charlie podcast, which is here on StreamYard, Facebook, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. Go on YouTube, like my channel, subscribe to my channel, and we all do this for a reason. We all do this to make sure that this information is getting out there. And I just want you all to support me on it. It means a lot to me. All right. Be blessed. Stay blessed. Love y'all. This is a Really Charlie podcast. And I'll see you on Thursday, 7 p.m. Take care.